For Coiled, we scale Python for data science. As some of you may know, Python is a very popular open source programming language. If you're a first-year computer science student today, you're probably learning Python. It's particularly popular for people who are doing data science, AI, machine learning. The PyData stack, packages like Pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib, among a bunch of others, are especially useful for this. And analysts, data scientists, they love these packages because they work, they're really easy to use, and unlike SAS, SPSS, and other tools, they are free. There is one challenge, though, is that these tools do not scale. And so if you have data that doesn't fit on your laptop or on a single machine, or you want to work with a cluster of machines, because as others have told you, right, there's huge data volumes and they're growing, you're a little bit stuck at the moment. And so this is an open question. And let's go to a random person on Twitter from 2 weeks ago. What is the best way, memory speaking, to read in a 100 gig file? So something that doesn't fit in memory, but isn't actually that big. The Twitterverse responds, read the file in chunks, download more RAM, don't use Python, maybe also pray. And one good Samaritan pops up and says, I'd recommend you use something called DASK. So DASK is an open source package, it's Python, and it scales the PyData stack. So if Pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib, they're great for data science because they work, they're easy, they're free, but they don't scale. DASK scales those packages. And as often happens on Twitter, you give a helpful suggestion and someone's going to shoot you down. And this guy says, no, don't use DASK. You should use Spark, maybe with the commercial entity Databricks behind it. And our good Samaritan responds, DASK is similar, it's distributed, it's native in Python, so it's really easy to use. And this random person says he'll check it out. So that's wonderful. But do any companies, do any enterprises actually check out DASK today? Walmart does. For their in-store forecast, they have a big job that needs to run within 12 hours each day. They use DASK to scale this workload across a big cluster of machines so it meets their SLA. In life sciences, there's tons and tons of DASK usage. So Novartis, Chan Zuckerberg Institute. This is a high resolution cellular image from the Harvard Medical School. These at the end of the day are just, whether it's genomics or cell images, they're just giant arrays, and DASK does a really good job of processing them in parallel. Also, financial services, hedge funds are big users of DASK. Anytime you swipe a Capital One credit card, it's going to be running DASK on the back end. For one of their credit scoring applications, the ML engineering team at Capital One saw a 100x increase in speed and a 97x decrease in cost when they moved this workflow over to DASK. Now, they then added more data so they could keep their budget. They certainly didn't give that money back. But what they were able to do was take a task graph, this disgusting thing over here on the right, and they were able to parallelize it really well with DASK. And they don't just use DASK, they use commercial software to manage their DASK clusters, and that's what Coiled provides. Coiled provides DASK as a service for the enterprise. So quickly recap this: Python, popular programming language, good for data science and machine learning. DASK scales Python where it doesn't scale. Coiled provides DASK as a service. It provides managed DASK clusters to enterprises. And I know what you're thinking, hey, why wouldn't Azure or GCP or AWS just provide this as well? If it's so popular, they could just eat your lunch. Well, today, when DASK users have questions, they tend to go to the people who wrote DASK. This is Matt Rocklin. He created DASK. He gets lots of questions. He spent the last 5 years helping companies like Capital One, while working at NVIDIA and Anaconda, various hedge funds, deploy DASK and optimize it. Matt founded Coiled. We raised a $5 million seed round, and then a couple months ago, a $21 million Series A, so we can scale out Coiled to a bunch of other enterprises who use DASK, but don't manage it with Coiled. So today, Coiled is the easiest way to scale Python via DASK. Tomorrow, using the metadata we gather from the product and just via conversations with customers, we will be the fastest way to scale Python via DASK. So when people like Jamie Dimon write in their annual report, hey, we need to adopt AI in cloud as absolutely fast as possible, there will be a zillion commercial solutions that are adopted. However, we know there will be lots of Python, and as a result, there will be lots of DASK to scale that Python, and those DASK clusters will be managed by Coiled. Our ask today, we recently are very proud to have signed a contract with help from those here with the United States Air Force. We are deploying Coiled on GovCloud. If you are on GovCloud and you're interested in DASK, you're interested in scaling Python, please reach out to me. I'm in sales, gus@coiled.io. If you are not on GovCloud, but you are interested in scaling DASK, you're interested in scaling Python, please reach out to me, gus@coiled.io. Coiled runs in all the major clouds and on-prem. So we are Coiled. We scale Python for enterprise data science. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gus. Great pitch. Any questions for Gus and Coiled?
Well, I had one, but then he said on-prem, and so I kind of want to double click on that. Are you targeting any specific devices like Snowflake or something like that for on-prem deployments of DASK?
Yeah, excellent question. So for Snowflake being a SaaS, a web-hosted database, there is an open source DASK connector for Snowflake. So for users who want to read data from Snowflake into a DASK cluster running in the cloud or on-prem, that does exist. Coiled did develop that kind of piece of technology, but we open sourced it, so it's not specific to us. Anyone using DASK could use it. So yes, that's a big part of our strategy. Snowflake doesn't necessarily love that because it removes compute from Snowflake, but it's certainly good for DASK users.
And for curveballs, I get my nouns jumbled up. I said Snowflake, I meant Snowball. So that I'm going from GovCloud to Snowball there. So are you targeting like AWS Snowball or something like that for on-prem?
We run on either bare metal VMs or on Kubernetes. We can deploy Coiled in a bunch of different ways, but no,